All these weak rappers, Nas, all these suckers, they battling off of East and West like this is a game. This ain't no game. If this was chess, we'd be yelling checkmate 3 years ago because we've been beat these. It's not a game.
In hip-hop history, there are many rappers who not only rap about the harsh realities of street life, but are also deeply connected to criminal gangs, murders, and violence. Let's take a look at them. Welcome to the Top Art Legends. Beanie Sigel.
I ain't the captain of the yacht, but I'm on the boat.
At the peak of his career, Beanie Sigel was one of the toughest rappers in the game. He never did quite tone things down, actually doing the things he frequently rapped about. So, Beanie Sigel, who had spent years ignoring the law before rising to fame as Jay-Z's protege, never lacked street credibility. From 1995 to 2001, he had numerous arrests for drug offenses, armed threats, assaults, and illegal possession of firearms. In 2002, he received a sentence of 1 year and 1 day in federal prison for gun possession. Between 2003 and 2005, he faced charges of attempted murder, inflicting bodily harm, and illegal firearm possession, but was acquitted.
Because when you go to that jail, there's two things you can't take with you, your bitch or your gun. And if you got a knife, a nigga disarm you if you don't got no bout gang. Fuck with me, you think Wolverine ran in your cell.
In 2006, he was wounded during a robbery and partially lost a lung. From 2010 to 2012, he was convicted of tax evasion, amounting to $1 million, and was arrested again for drug and firearm charges. He was sentenced to 25 months in prison. Gangsta Dresta.
I'm the same G that put Eazy E back on the block.
Gangsta Dresta, along with his brother B.I.G. Knockout, is a member of the Nutty Block Compton Crips gang. After their mother was incarcerated, the brothers grew up without supervision, which influenced their decision to join gang life.
Mad 'cause I got up, got out, and got something.
In 1988, Dresta was convicted of assaulting a gang member and spent 5 years in a correctional facility where he began writing rap. In 1994, he was involved in a shootout in Watts, during which Tyrone Thomas, a member of the rival P.J. Watts Crips, was killed, and Dresta himself was injured. He was charged with murder, but pleaded not guilty and received only 1 year of probation. Quite a strange justice system. Raw Diggs.
Raised by my older cousins, help me serve niggas.
Raw Diggs is an example of a gangster who became a rapper while in prison. At the age of 14, he was first incarcerated for armed robbery. After being released, he delved even deeper into violence and drug trafficking. In his rap videos, he openly bragged about murders and gang activity, which ended up being used as evidence in court.
Music videos in and of themselves and the lyrics in and of themselves would never be proof beyond a reasonable doubt. But could it be something that a jury takes into consideration when they're weighing the credibility of other witnesses or weighing the credibility of other evidence?
In 2014, he was convicted on 21 counts, including murder, racketeering, drug trafficking, robbery, and more. The court determined that Raw Diggs led a faction of the Blood Street Gang and controlled the drug trade in the Gowanus and Wyckoff Gardens neighborhoods of Brooklyn. He was found responsible for at least 3 murders in 2001, 2008, and 2009, and for intimidating witnesses.
His childhood friend Shanduk McFadder says prosecutors are smearing Heron with stereotypes and circumstantial evidence.
The music is basically us talking about the life that we come from, not necessarily saying this is what I did. You know, this is a very intelligent man, and this is not a man who would commit all these crimes and didn't tell you for you to use it against him.
Although he claimed to be just a rapper, the prosecution relied on testimony from over 50 individuals. As a result, he was sentenced to 12 life sentences plus 105 years in prison. Fetty Wap. Fetty Wap rose to fame in 2015 with the hit song Trap Queen, in which he openly rapped about drug dealing.
And like
Not all rappers are actually involved in the activities they rap about, but Fetty Wap was one of the exceptions. He seemingly wanted to be both a successful rapper and a successful gangster, but ultimately failed at both. In 2021, he was arrested right before his performance at the Rolling Loud Festival. He was one of 6 individuals accused of running a drug cartel that trafficked over 100 kilograms of narcotics from the West Coast to Long Island and New Jersey.
Prosecutors say he smuggled large amounts of heroin, fentanyl, and other drugs into New York City. His lawyers had suggested he turned to selling drugs because of financial hardship brought on by the COVID-19 pandemic.
They used the U.S. Postal Service and drivers with vehicles equipped with hidden compartments to transport controlled substances across the country to Suffolk County, where the drugs were stored. Fetty Wap played a significant role in the operation, acting as a kilogram-level distributor for the drug trafficking organization. Young Thug. Young Thug was one of the founders of the Young Stoner Life, YSL label in Atlanta, created in 2012. In May 2022, Young Thug and 27 other YSL members were arrested on RICO charges. Prosecutors alleged that YSL was not just a music collective, but a street gang affiliated with the Bloods. The charges included murder, shootings, drug trafficking, and carjackings. Prosecutors used his lyrics and social media posts as part of the evidence. In October 2024, Thug entered a blind plea, admitting guilt to several charges, including RICO conspiracy, firearms offenses, and drug-related crimes.
I take full responsibility for, my crimes or my charges. I want to say sorry to my family, my mom, really everybody that got something to do with this situation. I want to say sorry.
His sentence, 40 years total, with 5 years in prison, already served, 15 years on probation, and the remaining 20 years as a suspended sentence, which can be activated if he violates the terms of his probation. Lil Wayne.
And you correct me when I'm looking around.
Throughout his career and image, Lil Wayne frequently referenced and represented the Bloods, specifically through connections to the criminal group Mob Piru. He was allegedly affiliated with the East Side Mob Piru via rapper Terminator, Term, who is said to have initiated Wayne into the gang in 2005, referring to him as a Damu, meaning an affiliated member. In 2007, Lil Wayne was arrested in New York with a firearm and, in 2009, pleaded guilty, receiving a 1-year sentence, of which he served 8 months.
I did my time. But the first day I rolled in jail, I had 2 big niggas came to my cell, pulled me out that motherfucker, put me in the pantry, closed the door, pulled my shirt up, had a magazine, all kinds of shit. Said, you are blood. You are blood. I don't know if you're blood or not. You're affiliated with him. In this prison, you are classified as a blood. You are classified as a chief. So we will be watching you very closely, and you are now considered a such and such prisoner.
In 2008, he was arrested again in Arizona on drug and weapons charges. In 2010, he received probation and a fine. In 2009, he was also detained at the U.S. border on suspicion of transporting narcotics. In 2019, gold-plated firearms and drugs were found on his private jet, and in 2020, he pleaded guilty to federal firearm possession. However, in 2021, he received a presidential pardon from Donald Trump. Eazy E.
It's all about making that GTA.
In his youth, the legendary Eazy E was associated with the Kelly Park Compton Crips, a subset of the larger Crips gang. His ties to street life and drug dealing provided him with the startup capital that he later used to launch Ruthless Records, the independent label that kicked off his career with the rap group NWA. In his later years, when he was already famous, Eazy E was more often involved in scandals related to the music industry, song rights and conflicts with other artists, notably Ice Cube and Dr. Dre, rather than criminal activity.
Would you say that you're a gangster?
Not anymore.
Not anymore. Why is that? What made you give up that lifestyle?
I didn't give it up.
You didn't give it up.
Different person.
You're a different person.
Right now.
Chief Keef.
I got a too high, she thinks she laced. Oh my God.
Chief Keef is affiliated with the Chicago-based gang Black Disciples, which has been active since the 1960s. At 15, he was arrested for manufacturing and distributing drugs and placed under house arrest.
First of all, let's be clear, Chief Keef is only 16, so don't be in. Oh, you're not? Why does everybody say you're only 16 years old?
They say what they want to say.
How old are you?
300.
In 2011, he was detained for pointing a gun at police officers, again sentenced to house arrest. In 2012 to 2013, he violated the terms of his probation, appeared in a video with firearms, and served 60 days in a juvenile detention center. He was linked to the murder case of rapper Lil Jojo, but was never officially charged. Between 2013 and 2014, he faced several offenses: drug charges, car crashes, speeding, fines, and license suspensions. In 2017, he was charged with assault and robbery, case dismissed, and arrested for drug possession, resolved via plea deal. However, in recent years, he has mostly stayed out of serious legal trouble. Kodak Black.
I told my brother Charles like I ain't got shit.
Kodak Black has had numerous legal issues since his teenage years. In 2015, he was charged with armed burglary and robbery. Some charges were dropped, but it affected his probation. In 2016, he was accused of sexual assault. In 2021, he pleaded guilty to a lesser charge and received 18 months of probation. In 2018, he served 7 months in prison for gun possession, drug charges, and child endangerment. In 2019, he received 46 months in prison for lying on federal firearms purchase forms. In 2022, he was caught with oxycodone and $75,000 in cash. He claimed he had a prescription and was released on bond. In 2023, he missed court-ordered drug tests, then failed one. Instead of jail time, the court allowed him to attend rehab.
I got the lyric. It said, "I'd change my life tonight if Donald Trump reduced my sentence." He not only reduced his sentence, he pardoned you.
All that good.
It's hard. That's hard. It's never been done before. Yeah, how did that happen? Like, you in the cell and they just said...
He Gemini again. He was Gemini like me. His birthday 3 days after my... And that boy, like, he be vibing out.
There are also allegations that Kodak Black is affiliated with the Bloods gang in Florida. Many fans and analysts also believe he has ties to the Zoe Pound, also known as ZMF gang in South Florida. Bobby Shmurda.
And if you ain't a hoe, get up on my tripod.
Bobby Shmurda was a member of the GS9 gang, which operated in Brooklyn. Prosecutors claimed that GS9 used music to glorify real crimes. Some of Bobby Shmurda's lyrics were even used in court as evidence. In December 2014, Bobby was arrested along with several GS9 members. He was charged with conspiracy to commit murder, illegal weapons possession, and involvement in a criminal organization. Prosecutors had hundreds of pages of evidence, including wiretaps and surveillance videos. In 2016, Bobby Shmurda accepted a plea deal, pleading guilty in exchange for a 7-year sentence. Part of his time was counted as already served, and he was released in 2021. Interestingly, he voluntarily took an extra 2 years on his sentence, so his friend and fellow rapper Rowdy Rebel could get a lighter sentence.
First chance I got out, I stood the fuck out. I didn't stay for clout to be like, I don't need no clout, I know the trouble. I know the back end of it. You know what I'm saying? A lot of these motherfuckers don't know the back end of it. So it's cool to talk about it, or we talking about your brother, or your friends, or the cousins. I ain't nobody wanna hear that shit. What the fuck you do?
After his release in 2021, Bobby Shmurda launched a new music career and has since stayed away from criminal activity. Tupac Shakur.
You sleep on the couch and beg a bitch to let you sleep in the house.
The legendary Tupac Shakur had serious and repeated run-ins with the law throughout his short but eventful life. In 1995, after signing with Death Row Records, Tupac grew close to the mob Piru Bloods, a gang that provided security services for the label. But this was one of the first incidents that left him deeply scarred for life. In 1992, during a festival in a neighborhood where Tupac used to live, a fight broke out involving gunfire. As a result, 6-year-old Quaid Walker was shot in the forehead while playing in a park. The gun used in the shooting was registered to Tupac. The boy's parents filed a civil lawsuit against Tupac and his stepbrother Maurice Harding, accusing them of involvement. According to witnesses, Tupac was allegedly waving the gun around, dropped it, and Harding fired the shot. However, no criminal charges were filed, and Harding was later cleared due to a lack of evidence.
I've never wanted to be a gangster. I'm a thug, but I'm a nice person. I'm a thug by survival. I have to be. I have to survive, not because I want to be. I don't want to hurt nobody. You know what I'm saying? I want to survive. I want to make money. I want to be in business. I want to do it. But what's honest about the world is that no one's going to let me do that. So that's where the thug comes in. But if everybody just left me alone, I'd be a nice person.
In the wrongful death lawsuit, attorneys discussed a settlement of $300,000, reportedly to be paid by the record label. Tupac's lawyer acknowledged that Shakur regretted the incident, but maintained that Tupac was not the shooter. The tragedy was a result of chaos during a large fight. YFN Lucci.
Look, I can't walk around my pole, but I gotta deal with it.
YFN Lucci is affiliated with the Bloods gang, specifically a subset known as YFN, Young Fly Niggas, which is referred to as a music collective, though we all know how that tends to work. In January 2021, YFN Lucci was arrested on murder charges. He allegedly participated in a shooting that resulted in the death of one of his associates. The charges included murder, aggravated assault, and gang involvement. A few months later, he was named in a large-scale RICO case targeting the YFN gang. The indictment includes 105 counts, covering murder, assault, racketeering, drug trafficking, and weapons violations. The case is believed to be connected to ongoing gang wars in Atlanta. YFN Lucci was held without bond for a period, but was later temporarily released in 2021.
Never held my head down on 10 toes about it.
He claimed that his life was in danger while in jail and requested release due to threats and fears for his safety. The Notorious B.I.G.
All the Crips, same number, same hood, it's all good.
The legendary Biggie wasn't a gang member, but he had strong ties to the Southside Crips, a serious criminal gang whose members often provided him with security while he was in Los Angeles. And as a 1990s gangster figure, he frequently found himself on the wrong side of the law. In 1989, at age 17, he was arrested for illegal gun possession and received 5 years probation. In 1990, he was arrested again for violating probation. In 1991, he served 9 months in prison for drug dealing in North Carolina. In 1995, he was charged with drug trafficking again, but the case was dismissed due to lack of evidence. In 1996, after a home search, he was arrested when police found drugs and firearms. He was also involved in an incident where he allegedly attacked fans with a baseball bat.
That's how real it is. I think somebody's trying to kill me. I'll be waking up paranoid. I'll be really scared. I'll just be paro. That's just the way I am. You know. You be seeing me. Scared to death.
One theory behind his murder is that Suge Knight arranged it as revenge for Tupac's death. According to Detective Greg Kading, The shooter was Wardell Poochie Faust, a member of Mob Piru Bloods, a rival gang, and a close associate of Suge Knight. Tsu Surf. Tsu Surf is affiliated with the Rollin' 60s Neighborhood Crips street gang. In 2022, he was one of 10 members of the gang who were federally indicted, with the group accused of committing acts of violence and distributing controlled substances in New Jersey and beyond. Tsu Surf allegedly held a leadership position in the gang and is believed to have shot a rival gang member in 2017. 2 years later, he was found in possession of 2 loaded firearms. However, after pleading guilty to conspiracy and illegal possession of firearms and ammunition, thereby avoiding a trial and potentially harsher sentence, he was sentenced in 2023 by a U.S. district judge to 5 years in federal prison. Sean Diddy Combs.
Through your family, I'll fulfill your dreams.
Although Diddy is known as a music producer, he had ties to street gangs in the 1990s, particularly during the conflict between Bad Boy Records, East Coast, and Death Row Records, which was associated with the Bloods. He reportedly hired Compton Crips as security for Bad Boy artists through intermediaries. Detective Greg Kading claimed that Crips could have been paid up to $1 million to kill Tupac, though there is no solid evidence, and Diddy denies any involvement. In the 1990s, he faced several criminal allegations, including gun possession, carjacking, threats, and blackmail. As we now know, in 2024, a major federal investigation was launched. He was ultimately cleared of racketeering and human trafficking, but was convicted under 2 counts of the Mann Act for transporting individuals for the purpose of prostitution, a conviction that may result in several years in prison. Jay-Z.
She gets carry fever, but soon as the show's over.
In his youth, Jay-Z was connected to street life in Brooklyn and has repeatedly mentioned that he sold drugs before becoming a rapper. He was detained several times by New York police on suspicion of drug or weapon possession, but none of the cases went to trial. In 1999, Jay-Z stabbed producer Lance Rivera at a party because he suspected him of pirating the album Volume 3 Life and Times of S. Carter. He pled guilty to second-degree assault in 2001 and received 3 years probation. After the 2000s, Jay-Z focused on business, which turned out to be a successful choice.
Jay-Z. Good business.
Who knows what might have happened if he had continued pursuing the gangster life. Foogiano.
$100 million phone. They hit my jack, they say they need the strong.
Foogiano has a fairly serious criminal record. In 2013, he was arrested for burglary and robbery. He was sentenced to 3 years in prison and served from 2014 to 2017. In July 2020, during a performance at Lavish Lounge in South Carolina, a shooting occurred that killed 2 people and injured 8 others. Foogiano did not fire a weapon, but was in possession of a gun, which led to charges. In December 2020, he was arrested again for illegal possession of a firearm and was released on bail with conditions to wear an electronic monitoring bracelet and stay in state. However, he removed the bracelet, left it by the roadside, and fled. In March 2021, Foogiano was apprehended by federal agents in Memphis. He was sentenced to 5 years in prison for escape, violation of release terms, and related offenses. Lil Durk.
My brother D-Thing just got killed and I've been slow since.
Lil Durk is a member of the Black Disciples gang, specifically the 300 faction, Lamron. His label, OTF, mostly includes members of the same gang. In 2011 and 2013, he had legal issues related to weapon possession. In 2019, he was arrested along with King Von following a shooting in Atlanta, but all charges were dropped by 2022.
Durk is a different breed than a lot of these rappers. I've been telling people that gangster rap done changed. Drill completely eviscerated that. The new rapper that fans flock to, they're talking about shit going on now. Things they did, hits they sent. And I'm not bragging about this, but this is why when we talking about Durk, think about gangster rappers in general. They wasn't doing none of this. So when you're saying that no one's stupid enough to do it, did they have beef like this? No.
In October 2024, Durk and 5 OTF members were arrested in Florida on suspicion of conspiring to murder Quando Rondo's relative in Los Angeles in 2022. Durk allegedly financed the crime, but has not been officially charged yet. There is also an ongoing civil lawsuit filed by the mother of FBG Duck, accusing Durk and OTF of profiting from violent reality rap, which allegedly contributed to the escalation of gang conflicts. Snoop Dogg.
SC and double OP, Digo double G.
Snoop Dogg has long-standing ties to the Rollin' 20 Crips gang operating in Long Beach, California. He has repeatedly acknowledged his affiliation, especially in his youth. He often wore Crips' blue colors and referenced the gang in his music. After gaining fame, he maintained cultural ties to the Crips, but more as an icon than an active member. In 1993, Snoop and his bodyguard were charged with the murder of Philip Woldemariam, a member of a rival gang. Prosecutors claimed the killing was gang-related. After a lengthy trial, he was fully acquitted in 1996.
Was there ever a version of you that was hard to let go of?
Yeah, I think that gangster shit was hard to let go, because I was fooled. I was fooled to thinking that it was making me who I was, and I was like, there was so much shit happening around it, and when I had to make a decision of, okay, I can't live like that no more, it was kind of hard to let go, because it meant that I had to let the homies go. I had to let them relationships go, because if you're gonna cut ties, you got to cut ties with it all if you want to separate.
In the 2000s, he faced several minor arrests for possession of drugs and weapons, both in the US and abroad, e.g., in the UK and Australia.
The cookie rookie shook him and took him, and now he's famous.
Today, he is a successful businessman. Scarface.
Those that get on top and try to stay clean.
In the mid-1980s, as a teenager, Scarface sold drugs on the streets of Houston. In an interview, he admitted this and understood he could have ended up in prison. I was selling crack. I was a D-boy. I didn't care about living. I was off the rails. Members of the Ghetto Boys collective say Scarface saved himself through music. Otherwise, he definitely would have ended up behind bars or died from a shooting. Ghetto Boys saved my life, no doubt about it, the rapper said. His only arrest was in 2010, and it was not related to criminal activity, but for failing to pay child support, which lasted 10 days. T.I. T.I. I had a series of legal problems, especially in the 2000s. In 2002 to 2003, he was arrested for drugs, fights, and probation violations. In 2007, he was detained for attempting to buy an illegal firearm. In 2009, he was sentenced to 1 year in prison and 1,500 hours of community service. In 2010, T.I. went back to jail for 11 months after being arrested for drug possession, which violated his parole. In 2018, he was detained after an altercation with a security guard, but the case was dropped. In 2020, he admitted to having once blamed his deceased cousin to avoid punishment. This caused accusations of snitching from fans. Tekashi 6ix9ine. 6ix9ine is a controversial rapper known for his ties to the 9 Trey Gangsta Bloods gang. In 2018, he was arrested for racketeering, conspiracy to commit murder, weapons charges, and robbery, facing up to 47 years. To avoid a harsh sentence, he made a deal and testified against 9 gang members, including leaders. This caused a wave of criticism in the hip-hop community. he was labeled a snitch. In 2019, he was sentenced to 2 years, but was released in April 2020 due to COVID-19 and asthma concerns. He turned out to be a disgraceful gangster. Abdul Arab West.
I got mama house out of foreclosure.
Philadelphia rapper Arab was arrested in October 2018 and charged with running a local drug trafficking organization under the cover of his label, Original Block Hustlers OBH. Prosecutors also accused OBH of at least one murder of a rival drug dealer. In April 2021, he was sentenced to 45 years in prison. You could have been a hero instead of a criminal, U.S. District Judge Michael Bailson told Arab during the sentencing hearing. But you became a drug dealer. You made that decision. That's why you're being punished. K Flock. K Flock is a member of the Sevside/DOA, Dead on Arrival gang, operating in the Belmont area of the Bronx. In December 2021, K Flock was arrested and charged with the murder of 24-year-old Oscar Hernandez near a barbershop in Harlem. In February 2023, he was federally indicted under the RICO Act, including charges of racketeering, participation in murder, armed assault, and possession of weapons. These actions are allegedly connected to Sevside/DOA activities. In March 2025, a federal jury found him guilty, and his final sentencing is scheduled for October 16, 2025. He faces a sentence ranging from 10 years to life imprisonment. OMB Bloodbath.
Just give me a reason and you'll see them shots rain.
OMB Bloodbath is accused of helping to orchestrate the murder of a rival gang member in October 2017. As a member of the 100% 3rd Ward and 103 gangs, she allegedly managed and controlled the murder through phone calls with members of her gang. These phone conversations were legally recorded and intercepted by federal authorities. The rapper was arrested in 2020 and remains in custody, still awaiting final sentencing. Tay-K. Tay-K had a chance to become a successful star, but chose a life of crime. In 2016, he and a group committed an armed home robbery, during which 21-year-old Ethan Walker was killed. In 2017, while under house arrest, Tay-K removed his electronic ankle monitor and went on the run. During his escape, he is suspected of 2 more serious crimes: the murder of 23-year-old Mark Saldivar near a Chick-fil-A, an armed robbery of a 65-year-old man in Arlington, Texas. In 2019, he was sentenced to 55 years for murder and an additional 56 years for other robberies combined. In 2025, he was found guilty of the second murder and given another 80 years to be served concurrently with his previous sentence. DaBabby. DaBabby's criminal record is long and complex in small period. In 2018, DaBabby shot and killed 19-year-old Jalen Craig in a supermarket. The case was closed as self-defense, but in 2022, a video surfaced casting doubt on this and sparking public criticism. In 2020, at a Los Angeles hotel, DaBabby struck an employee who was trying to take a photo of him with a child. Although the case did not go to court, the incident caused a scandal and public backlash. That same year, he assaulted a concert organizer, stealing money and belongings. He was arrested but quickly released on bail. In 2021, a former producer accused DaBabby of assaulting him on the set of a music video and filed a $6 million lawsuit for bodily injury and humiliation. He is also known for numerous fights with fans, security, and other artists, such as Cam Coldheart in 2019 and a fight with Danny Lay's brother in 2022. King Von was affiliated with the street gang Black Disciples, part of the People Nation Alliance, active in South Chicago. In 2012, he was arrested for illegal possession of a firearm. In 2014, he was charged in connection with a shooting in Englewood, the murder of Malcolm Stuckey and the wounding of 2 others. Charges included first-degree intentional murder and attempted murder. In 2017, he was acquitted due to lack of evidence. In 2019, he was arrested related to a shooting in Atlanta. Along with Lil Durk, he was charged with robbery and shooting near the drive-in restaurant, the Varsity. He was released on a $300,000 bond. After his death, in 2021, leaked documents revealed that an informant claimed Von allegedly ordered the hit on his former associate FBG Duck, initially for $50,000, later increased to $100,000, which ultimately led to Duck's murder in August 2020. Von was actively investigated in this case.
He was a serial killer who bragged about killing people, and he professed and confessed to be a demon.
He was that, bro. If he wanted you out of there, he'll go do it himself on feet by himself.
Von gave me a lot of passes. He could have killed me a couple times.
I was happy as hell when I found out Von was dead. I cooked for the whole day.
Cool C. Cool C was a failed robber and killer of a female police officer. He can be described as an unsuccessful gangster. His rap career was just beginning and showing promise, but everything changed on one day in 1996. On January 2nd, 1996, Cool C, along with CEB member McGlown, aka Steady B, and another Philadelphia rapper, Mark Canty, attempted to rob a PNC bank branch in Feltonville. The robbery was unsuccessful, and during the getaway, Cool C shot a police officer in a shootout. Cool C was arrested on October 30th, 1996, and convicted of first-degree murder. At the subsequent hearing, he was sentenced to death by lethal injection. The execution date was set for March 2006, but since then, Cool C has continuously been granted stays of execution. Cool C maintains his innocence despite 3 witnesses placing him at the crime scene and video footage confirming his presence. He is currently incarcerated at the State Correctional Institution Phoenix. MC Hammer.
Look in my eyes, man. You can't touch this.
Legendary. MC Hammer may not have had any criminal issues with the law, but you could still call him a gangster. His actions in conflicts with other rappers were radical and undeniably gangster-like. MC Search of Third Bass claimed that Hammer put out a $50,000 hit on them over an offensive line in the song The Cactus.
The Cactus turned Hammer's mother out.
With the job allegedly assigned to the Los Angeles Crips. Search later admitted the incident left him with deep psychological trauma. "I'm not good," he told Vlad TV in 2018. "I've been through 25 years of therapy 3 days a week. I wish I could be good, but when somebody tries to kill you over a rap lyric, understand what it feels like to not know that you can turn a corner without someone trying to kill you for $50,000. Redman also crossed paths with Hammer, mocking him in the 1992 album What? The album on a track called Funky Uncles.
He ain't shit, you ain't shit, motherfucker. My man.
Because of this, Hammer's associates nearly got to him in Oakland, forcing Redman to flee the city. "We had to get the f*** out of there. They wasn't playing. We was almost boxed in," he revealed in a 2016 interview with Vlad TV. Redman later admitted he had made a mistake. Ice Cube also took a shot at Hammer in the True to the Game music video, which led to a face-to-face confrontation. Hammer made it clear he wouldn't tolerate disrespect, and the conflict ended with Cube apologizing. Clearly, even the boldest didn't want trouble with Hammer. 50 Cent. Yes, 50 Cent is also on this list because, strange as it may seem, he was indeed a gangster in his younger years. In 1994, at the age of 19, he was arrested for drug dealing. Later, the police raided his home and found more drugs and a starter pistol. He was facing 3 to 9 years, but ended up serving only 6 months in a boot camp. In May 2000, 50 Cent was shot 9 times at close range near his grandmother's house in Queens. He was hit in the jaw, arm, thigh, leg, and chest, but survived and recovered within 6 months. According to a federal investigation, the 2000 attack on 50 Cent was considered retaliation for his track Ghetto Quran, where he mentioned real drug dealers from Queens, including Kenneth Supreme McGriff, former leader of the Supreme Team Gang.
I just never seen anyone successful in a gang, ever. In the history of gangs, I haven't seen success. So I join a sorority. That's the gang that is like with people who actually make it. You know what I mean? Like that. Join those kind of gangs. Like Alpha, do some shit like that. That kind of gang, I'm with it. I join if they let me.
In 2013, his ex-girlfriend, Daphne Joy, with whom he has a child, accused him of domestic violence and property damage. He pled guilty to a misdemeanor, vandalism, and received 3 years probation with 30 days of community service. Since then, he has focused on business, and his name is now more associated with entrepreneurship than crime. Big Glow.
I paid on my own for one.
Big Glow, cousin of Chief Keef, was affiliated with the Black Disciples gang, specifically the O Block area in Chicago. In 2002, he faced drug trafficking charges. He pled guilty, and some charges were dropped. He served nearly 200 days in jail. In 2007, he was again convicted for weapons possession and assault. He pled guilty and received a sentence with time served credited. In 2008, 2009, and 2013, he was convicted 3 times for drug possession, each time pleading guilty. In 2013, he received probation but violated it. His criminal career ended in 2014 when he was shot and killed in the Inglewood neighborhood on Chicago's South Side. This wasn't the last murder in hip-hop history, unfortunately. Thousands of young people dream of being gangsters and famous rappers at the same time. Sadly, it usually ends in tragedy. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, please hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and hit the bell. You can also write a comment in the comment section down below. See you later on the Top Art Legends.